2024 is already one over. It might depend on where you are, but I don't think so, since one would be 3.65 days. Joke's on you, it's a leap year. Even in Kirimati, with its GMT 14, it's only 09:00 AM on Jan 4. As of this, don't get to 3.66 days there for another 6 hours and 50 ls. There's even more to go. Thanks. Keep us updated every please. 98.9 of. This is fine. To go. Already one over? Too late to get things done. I'll take it easy. And yet it just begun. I have been sober all year so far. If one has experience watching loading bars, you know when you stop paying attention you'll be 90 there in no time. Not quite there, bud. Wait until dinner time tomorrow. Children need to get off Reddit, moving things right along. And I wasted 2/3 of that time. An FBI agent tells a Montana rancher, "I need to inspect your ranch for illegal grown drugs." The old rancher says, "Okay. But don't go in that field over there." Duff thought the agent was going to call in support and turn over every inch of that field, saving the rancher a week of time. An oldie. But I still always laugh when I read this one. Aha, haven't heard 234 in a long time. All the guys in the block are happy. I'm totally bullish on this one. Sorry, I thought I was in our dad jokes. A post on a different subreddit reminded me of this joke, which I haven't seen in a while. I can only wish it is OC, as I've always loved the visual imagery it creates. My aunt was a farm wife with 1,000 jokes. She told me this one when I was about 7 years old. I'm 71 now. Lol. Good old number 127. Coffee smells better than it tastes. Depends on what you're drinking. Approximately 80 to 90 of what we perceive as taste is in fact due to our sense of smell. Think about how dull food tastes when you have a head cold or a stuffy nose, cause you can't smell bitterness. There was a journal article in Nature Scientific Reports titled something like Understanding the Role of Bitter Taste Perception in Coffee, Tea and Alcohol Consumption Through Mendelian Randomization back in 2018. Turns out, the love of bitterness is akin to the ability to taste the soap-like flavor of cilantro. It's due to a genetic mutation. You don't like black coffee? It's safe to assume you do not have this mutation. Quite the opposite of cheese. Have you tried drinking coffee and having some ground beans nearby to sniff at the same time? I haven't. I'm not a that may help you. Lol. It's an acquired taste. Dinosaurs existed for a good 165 million years. Meanwhile, we've only existed for some 300,000. Dinosaurs have existed for about 230 million. You're comparing probably hundreds of thousands of species against one, so it's not really apples to apples. Dinosaurs existed that long and still somehow never became dinosaurs. Not only that, dinosaurs are still technically around in the form of birds. Fun fact: Stegosaurus and Tyrannosaurus rex, two famous dinosaurs, lived at different times. Stegosaurus roamed the Earth around 150 million years ago, during the late Jurassic period. On the other hand, Tyrannosaurus rex strutted much later, approximately 66 million years ago, during the late Cretaceous period. So, they never crossed paths in the history of dinosaurs. Dying and giving more inheritance is better than allowing the medical and retirement industries to drain everything you've earned. Mom needs chemo, also rent went up, so I think you had a good long life, mama. Now write it in the first person. Then I'll believe you. Estate planning does exactly what you speak of by giving tax-free gifts each year to loved ones over decades. Better for who? The dead guy? My grandfather was like this before the start of dementia. He said he didn't need to be in any fancy expensive assisted living. He asked to be put in a cheap place, so that we can have more inheritance. Yet, we could have easily afforded to put him in a nice place with better staff. We did end up putting him in a decent place. We had him think it was cheaper than what it really was. What exactly is the retirement industry? Our American shower thoughts. This makes you seem cold and greedy. Funny part of being a Turk is although you feel connected to Asians, Europeans, and Middle Eastern, none of them wants to be associated with you. I mean, I have nothing against Turks in my home country, but Erdogan makes it very difficult to like the country as a whole. Historically, a lot of ethnic groups have had pretty good reason to not like the Turks. Cough Armenians, cough Bulgarians, cough Kurds. I disagree with most people thinking it's historical. It's a current issue with the current government. As a Turk, I don't want to be associated with Turkey either right now. A lot of countries have good reasons to stay away from Germany too, but the difference is acknowledging and taking responsibility for your past, although still I don't think the Ottoman Empire comes up as a more important reason than this current shit show. That's a lie. Sweden would not survive New Year's Day without Turks. They operate most of the pizza places. I always keep a picture of my wife and kids in my wallet to remind me why. Oh, I have 3 kids and no money. Why can't I have no kids and 3 money? Homer J. Simpson. That's why I've got a picture of my landlord and energy supplier. Wow, what a coincidence. I've got a picture of your wife and kids in my wallet too. It's why you pay so much. I wanna be able to afford stuff, so do I. This sounds like a Jim Gaffigan joke. You should figure out how to submit it to him, lol. Always keep a small envelope on you with $20 in it labeled, "For the orphans." If you suddenly die it will make you look good. Might as well add the government for taking part of your money as well. Smiley face. I can't afford a wallet. It's just a small envelope made of pictures of my family, the landlord and the government. That's why I have a picture of Joe Biden. I love technically true jokes, like, if you take a blue whale and lay it lengthwise across a football field, they'll have no choice but to cancel the game. Most people have an above average number of arms. If your parachute fails, you have the rest of your life to fix it. Have you ever seen geese flying south for the winter? Ever notice that one side of the V is longer than the other? Do you know why that is? More geese on that side. People eat more bananas than monkeys. Did you know that frogs can jump 12 times higher than a house? This is because of the unique structure of their legs and because houses cannot jump. A colon can make all the difference in a sentence. A Joe ate his friend's sandwich. B. Joe at his friend's colon. Ever wonder why scuba divers fall backward out of a boat? Because if they fell forward they would still be in it. There are more atoms in a molecule of water than there are stars in the solar system. I steal board games all the time. Almost got caught a few times. You don't have a monopoly on puns. Always good to have a hobby up. But this one sounds like a Trivial Pursuit. No one has a clue. I hate coming to one of these threads late and having to scrabble around for a good pun. It really is a Trivial Pursuit. Sorry. That's life. Scotland Yard would like a word. You'll be in trouble if you don't say sorry, Uno. Keep it up and you might get into trouble. Thanks for telling us about your checkered past. It's good to get these things off your chest. Wow, I love board game puns. Thanks for sharing. Life is a game and you just lost. If he gets caught he'll use his reverse Uno card. All fun and games until you get trouble. I tried to discreetly swipe Jenga and accidentally knocked all the games down. The clerk said I wouldn't be any good at that game anyway. Pretty cheesy joke if you ask me. I've lost control. I don't see an end. There's no escape. I don't even have a home anymore. Surely there's gotta be some alt options. You should delete this and shift it around a little. I need to pause dad jokes. I need break and escape. Hang in there. I know this shift is happening fast. This post is quite gory. You need to shift your perspective. Take a pause and don't have a breakdown. Wait, what? Sorry, spaced out there for a minute. This left me feeling numb and unable to function. I would return it if you don't have enough space. This joke is F5. I know you've been shutting down lately. Don't lose control, alt your attitude, and don't delete yourself. If you do these three things simultaneously, you'll be the administrator of your own destiny. 20 years later and I still cannot find the any key, rolling eyes face. Sounds like you've run up a tab you couldn't pay off. Finally, a dad joke worthy of its name. Till short sleeper syndrome is a gene mutation discovered by the University of Pittsburgh in 2014. They can function normally with less than 6 hours of sleep and never need to recover from lack of sleep as opposed to people who purposefully limit sleep. The mutation was given to mice and worked. I have a torturous form of sleep that I can rarely ever get more than 6 hours or so, and yet my body is always telling me how tired I am in the morning. Lol. This is my husband. Took him years to realize that my 8-9 hours were something normal and not being lazy. Now let's do research into whatever gene I have that requires 9-10 hours since I was a kid. Crying face. It wouldn't be so bad if society wasn't such a hater. If you think this describes you, but you haven't been medically diagnosed, it's probably not describing you. You're trying to normalize the lack of sleep that comes from anxiety, stress, and depression. Till that the dried up white dog poop common before the 90s was due to dog food containing too much calcium and bone meal. Fuck, I thought they were just scorched from the sun else. I definitely remember seeing white dog poop everywhere when I was a kid in the 80s and 90s. I never noticed when it stopped though. Always just thought the white ones were the ones I missed the last few cleanups and that's how it degraded. Smiley face. Wild. 90s dogs had the strongest bones. Brennan got a belly full of that stuff. The Stuff You Should Know podcast did an episode on this. Whatever happened to that white dog poop from the 70s? Thanks for answering a question rattling around in my head for way too long. Celebratory gesture. Till in 1609, Manhattan supported more ecological diversity per acre than Yellowstone National Park. Research suggests that had Manhattan never been developed, it would be one of the most important national parks. I heard someone say something along the lines of people think there are more bird species in NYC than Yellowstone, because there are so many people actively identifying birds. Shit, there was a commercial fishing industry on the Hudson until the 70s. Please contribute to my GoFundMe to buy up Manhattan and restore it into a national park. target $30 trillion. Okay, everyone out, we're turning Manhattan back into a park. If Yellowstone were in a more economically advantageous location, we'd have bulldozed that shit too. Till stock trader Jesse Livermore predicted the 1929 crash, made a profit due to his prediction, and became a target until his eventual suicide in 1940. Livermore had short positions that were down $6 million. Then the 1929 crash happened and he shot up to $100 million. In 1929 money he also shorted the 1906 San Francisco earthquake. Michael Burry ain't got nothing on this man, should read about his family. His wife shot his son after they both got drunk and the son was like, "I dare you to shoot me." His story is pretty wild. He could have been a mod in our Wall Street bets. The original sell short. Profit made a profit, lined his pockets till he drop head. Also, loves grandfather. All this made available due to financial leveraging from shorting, right? So he went heavily in debt in his positions, then they shot to positive? Takes money to make money, am I right? Till that Jennifer Pan, under intense pressure to succeed, deceived her parents for over a decade, leading them to believe she was a successful pharmacist, despite not graduating high school. When her lies unraveled, she arranged for her parents' murder. The jig is up. They know. Time to die. That is, of course, the logical conclusion. Wait. What? My parents were a lot like hers. I really wasn't allowed to do anything. I moved out during college and stopped contacting them even when they repeatedly tried calling my dorm's landline. No cell phones at the time. I was angry at them for controlling my life, but obviously as a sane person I never considered murder. That's completely bananas, especially when just leaving and ignoring them is an option. Till that an old 12-inch tall Jack Russell Terrier named George sacrificed his life to save 5 children from a dog attack. George was celebrated and a statue was made in his honor. I know some Jack Russells and this makes sense. He's a good boy. Some say he was a good boy. To those 5 kids, he was the best. In the breast of the smallest terrier beats the heart of an ancient wolf. Good boy, George. Hope you get all the treats. She gave him a home and a life of love. With his final act, he thanked her. That good boy is getting petted by all the angels up there. What a brave dog. Not just dogs, but 2 out-of-control pit bulls. Definition of a good boy. As a Jack Russell owner, I am very proud. The goodest boy. The attacking dogs were shit bulls, in case there was any doubt. It's in the wiki. It's the onions. I'm making a lasagna. The sky was looking ominous, so I asked Siri, "Shirley, it's not going to rain today." There's a problem with my phone. What is it? It's a device used for looking at cat pictures and arguing with strangers, but that's not important right now. It is an entirely different mode, altogether. Have you ever been in a Turkish prison? Airplane mode. It is an entirely different mode. Siri, do you have any light reading? Flying high. Dutifully stolen. That's so good. What hobby is an instant red flag? Someone on Hinge asked what my hobbies are, and there are a lot, so I listed them out to the best of my ability. She was really happy that I didn't say I was into board games. I forgot board. I told her that I am into board games, actually, and she ghosted me. My friend told me after like 8 months of knowing her that she goes out into the woods and collects animal carcasses to process into art. Uses acid to melt off the skin and pose the skeleton. Makes pelts, etc. I was shocked that she'd keep such an awesome hobby secret for so long. My brother said it's because it makes her look like a psycho, and that boiling bodies is a serial killer's hobby. Doing pranks for content. I've heard a lot of people say that horse girls are crazy. Warhammer. My wife never saw it coming. A lot of folks here seem unclear about what constitutes a hobby. What is the worst thing you can say when your wife accuses you of never listening? Can you keep it down? I'm trying to watch TV. I get it. The setup isn't a question, it's a statement. What a funny way to start a conversation. That's not fair. I used to listen to you. You were saying what? Come again? What? I'd listen more if you said something interesting. I thought it was funny. My wife not so much, lol. Sorry dear, you were saying? Missed the last part. What is that I don't do? The worst thing? I think death threats mixed with screamed verbal abuse, very personal accusations, and lots of extremely offensive. I think I would be banned from Reddit if I told you a terrible thing to want to know. What? In Stone Cold Steve Austin voice, what? Did you say something? Did you say something? Yes, I'd love a beer. What's the craziest World War II fact that you know of? The nuclear attack on Nagasaki almost failed when the bomb plane got separated from their escorts and they wasted 45 minutes of fuel trying to find them. At Normandy, my uncle Curtis got blown up but still alive, so they morphined him really good and buried him in the sand till the battle moved on, then they came back and got him. He's still kickin'. Something like 1/10 of the Russian population died, That time the British dumped a dead man's body with fake plans planted on him so it would wash up in Spain and get turned over to the Germans. During the war, Canada built more military trucks than the major Axis powers Germany, Japan, Italy combined. Source: they tried to make an aircraft carrier made of ice. What's your most mind-blown moment in life, where things got so serendipitous it felt unreal? This was about 8 years ago. A group of friends and I were headed to a game store and were talking about the terrible drivers in our friend group. We all agreed our friend Steve was the worst because he was always on his phone while driving. As we pass an on-ramp for the highway, we almost get run into by a car that swerved over into our lane. As we look over, it was Steve, on his phone. We were dumbfounded. Found a handwritten letter from my dad on the 20th anniversary of his death. It was the poem If by Rudyard Kipling when I was going through a split and feeling lost. It's now framed and makes me smile most days. Which old wives' tale is actually true? When rain is coming, your joints hurt. I used to roll my eyes and laugh when Granny said her arthritis was acting up because it was going to rain. I was 10 years old. I'm now 53 and not laughing. Granny 1, me 0. Ammonia on a mosquito, a bit of ammonia on it, and don't touch it. Count to 120 seconds, and the bite is gone, inflammation etc. When I first heard of it, I didn't believe it. Now, just a touch of kitchen ammonia and don't scratch and it's beyond gone. Completely. Gathering herbs by the light of the plants, pollinated by moths, have their most potent oils at night to attract night insects. So if you need it at its strongest, pick it at night. Why are you still alive today? Because I've managed not to die thus far. Because I have big boobs. I was in a bad car crash 60 miles per hour to 0 in about 3 feet. My chest hit the steering wheel, hard, even though the airbag deployed, and my left breast acted like an auxiliary airbag. I bled into that instead of my chest cavity. Poor thing was badly bruised and I'll never be a model now, but I'm still here to tell the tale. Because I have to pay taxes, I can't let them down, for revenge. To be better than everyone who ruined my life. I don't want to hurt my family, because I stopped drinking 3,070 days ago. Honestly, I'm surprised I made it this far. The eye went off a few milliseconds early and completely destroyed the Humvee's engine compartment instead of going off under my seat.